Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Cloy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to CloysSouthernEats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.
And everybody, welcome to the October 10th edition of the Huddle with Marty Houston here Tuesday night. I've got Marty. He's kind of on the road here. He's getting back to the house. We'll bring him on here in just a second. Y'all, I know that Razorback football has been the topic of the town and not for the right reasons so far here the last couple of weeks. And quite honestly, we also got playoff baseball. That's one of the big things that's going on too right now. Really across the nation. I feel like that we got to put Arkansas football maybe at the backseat for just a minute because there's some great baseball being played. You know, you had the Atlanta game ending the way it did, and if you have not seen that yet, you need to go watch it because I'm telling you what, that's probably one of the most dramatic finishes that I have myself, and I'm sure probably a lot of baseball watchers too, is never seen quite like an ending like that last night, and it was so dramatic how everything happened in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then the 9th. So you had Minnesota. They dropped a kind of a clunker today, too. We'll go over that as well. So let's go ahead and bring in Marty. Marty, how you doing, man?
I so apologize for this. I'm gonna get better lighting here in just a minute, and I'm like, I gotta plan these better when I'm not driving or something like that. But I'm glad to be here though, and as long as I sound okay for right now, for the next couple of minutes anyway, it's going to be like this. But if I sound okay, it'll be fine.
Yeah, so we'll let Marty get home there and stuff. And, that's kind of what I wanted to open with was, Razorback football has been really kind of at the forefront of the minds of Arkansans across the state now for the last couple of weeks. And now you walk into a place like Alabama that they're not going to take any prisoners. I mean, they are going to go out there and they are going to try to knock your head off this Saturday.
Yeah, and that's the way they are. Listen, we knew this was a tough stretch.
Yeah.
And the coaches are still trying to figure things out, and with a lot of new pieces, new offensive coordinator. I said this last week. They've got a new offensive coordinator. Basically, most of their offensive line is new. The receivers are new. The guys that you got returning are KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders and all those running backs. But we still haven't had a 100-yard rusher yet in any of the games this year. And that's unlike last year. The defense is actually, and they were replacing a lot of guys on that defensive side. I think that's kind of side they are trying to figure it out. So is Alabama, though. Alabama's trying to figure out a lot of things too. Believe it or not, they've allowed more quarterback sacks than what Arkansas has, and so you look at what they're going through, but their defense is actually performing pretty well and has probably saved them in some of these games. But they have pulled off some of the wins. Again, we knew this was a tough stretch. I knew that the Texas A&M game was going to be pivotal, like it always is. The good news is, I get what 1925, the last time they played this many games away from home in a row, and they're coming back on that. Is that right? What I'm saying?
I think so. I do believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, they haven't had a road stretch like this. The Mississippi State game will be the first time back at home since the BYU game. Yeah, that's a lot of games and some tough games in between when you talk about A&M, Alabama, BYU, and LSU and Ole Miss, who is a top 15 team. So, again, we knew this was going to be a tough stretch. The good news is, I think on the second half, if they get some stuff figured out, it's a little bit tougher stretch, and you're going to be at home for a number of these. I think it really could come down to that last game if they could go. Where they've gone 2-4 now here in this first stretch. If they can go 4-2 in the second stretch, we could be looking at a minor bowl, and because of some improvements, it could be looking better. Now, again, you've got some fans that will be saying, I don't see where you're seeing 4 wins here. So maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you don't know where the improvements might come, from this team. I think that we found a new offensive weapon with Washington this last week. He could be a go-to guy. Armstrong kind of has been that kind of guy on offense. We've got to get a 100-yard rusher. We've got to start opening up some running for this team. And they've made these changes on the offensive line. So far, they haven't worked, but let's see if the changes continue to settle in and they get a little bit better. They're trying to figure that part of it out. But I'm giving them some leeway, the coaches, that maybe they can, get some of this, figured out, that they could possibly, find the right triggers that could get them on a reversal streak with a better schedule in the second half of the schedule.
Yeah, because quite honestly, like you said, with the stretch that they're in right now, that's something, like you said, everybody's been looking at. Everybody knew, coaches knew, state knew, everybody knew it was going to be tough. You didn't expect to go 0-4, possibly like they have during this stretch, if you want to include BYU 0-5. But you look at Florida, you never know what's going to go on with the Billy Napier team over the last year and a half now. All bets are off with that one. You got Zach Arnett, and with Mississippi State, they're always in. They've been in flux this entire year. One of the ones that I'm kind of on 50-50 on is Missouri. Drink has got them playing well.
Especially the games in Fayetteville, they've had better success with them there. They don't play them at Columbia this year, so I'm going to give them a little bit of an edge because it's in Fayetteville. I think that they have a better chance, but Missouri's playing very well right now and just about knocked off LSU last week. So, they've got things ticking up for them. But, again, we got a lot of time between now and the day after Thanksgiving to see what happens, how Missouri's trending and how Arkansas is trending by that time.
Yeah, one of the most pivotal games I really think in this last 6-game stretch is going to be Auburn. The reason why is because you don't quite know what you're going to get with whenever Auburn comes into town, because defense was playing great against A&M, and then they kind of, I don't know, the offense quite isn't what Hugh Freeze wants it to be, and that they've had some struggles on the offensive side of the ball, and that's where I think Arkansas might have a chance, but again, if you got the defense and as well as they've been playing this year, I think that's going to be probably the most pivotal game of this 6-week stretch.
Yeah, Hugh Freeze. Auburn's like Arkansas. The offense isn't where Arkansas wants it to be, and you got a new offensive coordinator at Arkansas. Hugh Freeze got a totally new staff there, and he's trying to figure things out in his first year. Of course, he played Arkansas last year. He knows some of the personnel, and so does his coaching staff from when he brought Liberty up here and pulled off the big upset win. And so you just figure it might be on Arkansas side this year. Although, again, with the Auburn game this year, it's going to be in Fayetteville as well. So last time they played in Fayetteville, Auburn won it though. Arkansas won over there. It's kind of opposite what we've got with Missouri. Where they've won the games or had better success in Columbia than what they've had here. So yeah.
Last time Auburn was here, that was kind of a train wreck, and everybody kind of scratched their head and just looked at each other and said, "What the hell just happened here?" Yeah,
now that was an Auburn team that kind of came together, and they ended up finishing the season well. Yeah, and Arkansas had just come off of the Georgia loss. They'd started off the season well, with the wins over Texas and the good 4-0 or 5-0 start that year, and so now. Auburn probably had a better team than what we credited them for. They might this year, but I'd still say Arkansas at home against Auburn. This is going to be a game that they should be favored in. I'll say that.
Good.
You're getting ready to see my lighting change.
Okay. Well, I can take you off the screen really quick.
And you might hear some dogs barking here in just a second as I walk through and get into the safe room.
I can take you off the screen really quick while you're moving through if you want me to.
Well, go ahead and do that, and I'm going to give me about 30 seconds here, okay?
All right, sounds good. Everybody, we're going to go to break here just for a second, and we'll be back. And everybody, welcome back from that break. We're going to have Marty come back on here in just a second. We're going to go over some Major League Baseball. You've got the ALDS and NLDS really starting to ramp up now in the middle of all four series. All right, let's bring him back on. Marty, hey there, how you doing?
Hopefully better lighting this time.
Oh, yeah, sounds better too.
There you go.
Even better. Excellent.
Not going through the car system.
So, first off and foremost, I want to bring up that Braves game from last night.
Yeah.
I don't think I have ever witnessed a finish like Braves game last night. You know, you have the go-ahead homer in the eighth inning. Oh, crud. Who was it again? Give me just a second. And also, I'd throw your comments and questions and thoughts, and two, we're going to answer everything you guys have too as well. We're going to keep it baseball though. So
well, this
Austin,
is what you play. This is what you play all summer for, and you have moments
definitely,
like these. You have moments like these in October. They were discussing, earlier today. I was sitting in my office watching the start of the Twins Astros game, and listening to Big Poppy and A-Rod and
Okay.
Derek Jeter talking about 2004. They made a whole documentary about how the Red Sox, who had not won a World Series since 1918, coming back from 3-0 down to make it to the World Series, then swept the Cardinals. Whatever happened in that game 3 or that game 4 of that series turned it around for the Red Sox. Again, I'm saying that just by talking about the Braves Phillies, because last year the Braves got it put on them by the Phillies as well. And them coming back and beating that team in particular after being down. Now again, they still have to face the best Phillies pitching coming up. They've got Wheeler and Nola still to go. But this is what you expect for October. Every pitch is big. Every out is big. It's not ever over until it's over in the 9th inning, especially in these close games. And I just think that there's better drama, and maybe the NCAA tournament probably beats playoff baseball for drama in this time of the year. So I just think this is what you come to expect. What the Braves pulled last night was big for them, because the series now shifts to Philadelphia, and they get the next couple of games there, and see what Wheeler and Nola can do.
So I want to set the mood for this for just a second, because what I feel like Austin Riley did in the 8th and the 9th inning was dang near superhuman. You have a guy go up there, they're down by a run, hits a 2-run shot to left, and whenever you hear a playoff baseball crowd go wild, I'm telling you what, it is second to none. It really honestly is. So you got Harris, I think it's Michael Harris II. Fly ball goes up to the fence, makes a jumping catch right on the fence, turns right around and chucks the ball all the way back into the infield. Now, thing is that Bryce Harper missed tagging up and just took off, so he had to come all the way back. Ball misses the cutoff, man. Austin Riley picks up the ball from third as the backup with the ball rolling around in the infield, fires to first in the nick of time, and nails Bryce Harper at first in the game. I'm telling you what, that right there is almost dang near storybook on how to finish a game.
Well, again, and the fans knew it too. Being down to Philadelphia 0-2 with Wheeler and Nola coming up, they knew how tough that is going to be, and it's still going to be tough. But having it 1-1 just changes things. And I'll say this: I think that people kind of favored either the Dodgers or Atlanta to win it all. I'm sorry, Atlanta or Los Angeles to win the whole thing after the regular season that they had. So that's a great hitting team that Atlanta's got. Great, and I would not assume any lead is going to be safe with the hitting team that they've got. So the drama that they have, what it meant to Atlanta now going back to Philadelphia, I think is huge. And again, it's what you expect with October playoff baseball.
You brought up the LA Dodgers, and if you all can see on the scroll there, the Dodgers are kind of in a hole now. They're 0-2 to the D-backs, and the D-backs really they've been playing sound baseball, and I'm going to tell you, the years of Clayton Kershaw being able to step back on the mound on short rest and try to bail them out of a situation, those days are over with.
Well, again, he didn't do it in the first game. He got shelled in the first game, and again, we talked about this last week. That was one of the guys that the Cardinals let go of back in 2018 in that trade for Marcell Ozuna and Zach Gallen, and he started out as a St. Louis Cardinal, and that was one of the guys that could have helped them this year. And he's now one of the aces for Arizona, and that's a bigger rivalry, I think, than people around here realize. Arizona and the Dodgers. Yeah, they the Phoenix and Los Angeles, pretty big rivalry between those two teams. Yes.
There, and the thing is that in the second game, the D-backs came back out, and after game one and Shell and Kershaw, they came back out and took a 3-0 lead in the first inning again. It was like they carried over from game one, got that momentum, and really tried to take the Dodgers out of the game from the get-go there at Chavez Ravine.
I'm worried about where the Dodgers pitching is going to be for the rest of the way. They went with Bobby Miller last night. He's a rookie, a very good rookie. In fact, the Cardinals made an offer at the trade deadline to try to get him, and the Dodgers didn't bite. But it could have included Nolan Arenado, from what I was hearing. And I know the Dodgers have been very interested there. I would not be surprised that they open that back up again in the talks, and them trying to go after some pitching. Another guy that they're looking at is that Sonny Gray, who you saw today from Minnesota. He's going to be a free agent, and they may be looking at going after him. So, but the Dodgers pitching the rest of the way, being young, and they've had some injuries. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. Their big lineup is still very good. Dodgers are still very good, but playoff baseball, I'm not sure how it holds up. I think it may be a little suspect.
So, Marty, if you can hear me, I cannot hear you for some reason.
Oh,
I'm
really?
going to back us up really quick, and I'm going to try to find out what's going on here really quick, okay?
Okay.
And we're back. Marty, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we got to figure it out now. Holy cow!
I could hear you all along a while ago. I just didn't know. I don't know how much you caught or I didn't catch. I was just saying that I thought that the Dodgers pitching might be a little suspect, going with young guys like the rookie Bobby Miller last night, and some of that's what I was talking about.
Gotcha. So this afternoon we saw the Twins get shelled by the Astros 9-1 today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can go and have such a sterling performance by Pablo. Oh my gosh, I cannot. Hold on just a second. I got the guy here. By Pablo Lopez on Sunday night.
Right.
He threw a 7-inning gem. I'm telling you, the guy was spectacular on the road at Houston. And, Twins took the game 6-2, but then they come back home for the first game of the ALDS at Target Field, and they laid a clunker today.
Again, disappointing Sonny Gray. I was just saying that, and they may not have heard what I said, but Sonny Gray is a guy that the Cardinals are looking at in the offseason as a guy that they may try to tab in free agency, and they had just been bragging on how he didn't give up the home run ball, and how he had just been masterful at getting the spin on the baseball, and he did not get that today. And he gave up the home runs today. So
it was quite a feat to see, because Sonny has been one of those guys that has been a workhorse for Minnesota this year, and giving him the ball at home, that it's kind of a, hey, this is done really well this year. We're going to go ahead. We're going to get you the ball the first game of the DS, and that was a really pivotal game for them to be able to kind of get a 2-1 lead on Houston, which a lot of folks want to see Houston finally get knocked out of the playoffs because just of what was happened over the last few years with the scandal and all that. And Carlos Correa's got a chance to knock his former team out, and we just have to see what happens when they come back and do this all over again tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon. First pitch is at 1:07.
Well, again, the guys that stepped up for the Astros today, same ones that you saw stepping up last year when they won the World Series. You see Bregman, you see Altuve even. It's the same guys, and you could tell this is a playoff baseball team, or a team that's been experienced in playoff baseball. They step up, when the lights are on and it's in the postseason. In fact, I heard him talking about that. Not surprised that Adam Wainwright was added to the broadcast team. He was just made for it. I mean, Fox ought to latch onto him beyond the postseason. He's funny and ready for that kind of a stage. But they were talking about it. They're just guys that are that way, that are ready when it comes time for the playoffs, and they step up their game.
Yeah, that was one of those. I was watching Sunday night, and I was like, man, the guy kind of sounds familiar. And I was like, man, he's got really good delivery. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then they had to cross the scroll on the bottom because from whenever I tuned in, they didn't have a camera on the booth, and they said it was Adam Wainwright. And I thought, oh my gosh, this guy's like the Tony Romo of Major League Baseball.
Oh yeah, I knew that they were going to add him to the broadcast booth right before this. I was talking to my son about it. I said, somebody is going to add Adam Wainwright to their broadcast team, and luckily for me, it was Fox that added him on. I say Fox because we aired the game today, my television station. But he is very personable. Just has that personality that's made for the broadcast booth, and I would say this about one of my other favorite Cardinals, Albert Pujols. I don't know that he's quite there like Adam Wainwright is as being a broadcaster. Adam Wainwright was ready to step into this role, though.
Yeah, he was. So looking ahead right now, Rangers and Orioles. Rangers are up 6-0 in the third inning, and Texas put up a 5 spot in the second inning. And I'm going to tell you what. You want to see Heston Kjerstad move along in the playoffs. You want to see the Orioles with that with the young team. It kills me to say the name Adley Rutschman. It kills me every time. I still go back to the Arkansas-Oregon State series, but a young guy that's also really kind of taking everything in as far as stepping in the major league role and really kind of embracing his position of catcher and really running with it. And, Baltimore is a real young team. I feel like they're kind of like the Bulls. And I know this is kind of different sports here, but I kind of feel like they're like almost like the Chicago Bulls in the mid 80s, a good young team. They're just going to have to take their lumps before they can make that next step.
They had the best record in the American League. I think they won over 100 games, 101 wins this year, and a good young team. But the Rangers are a good young team too. They just needed to find the pitching, and they may be getting Max Scherzer back. They think that he may be ready for a start for them. So if they win tonight, of course they move on to the ALCS, and we'll see what happens there. But this is the Rangers right behind the Braves, best hitting team in major leagues. and they've got a lot of good young hitters on this Rangers team, and Rangers fans ought to be excited about the team that they put together. They just needed to find the pitching, and then picking up Scherzer and Jordan Montgomery has been a help. And they got Nathan Eovaldi going today, and they've run into some injuries with some of the pitching now, but they get that to pull together for them. Look out, because the Rangers have got the bats.
Thinking about it, kind of thinking ahead a little bit, that would be a very intriguing, really great matchup watching with the Braves and the Rangers facing off possibly in the World Series.
It would be, the Rangers and the Astros in the ALCS could be interesting. They had some good battles if you look at it in the regular season. That came down to the last game of the season, where the Astros were able to pull off a win and the Rangers had lost, even though both of them had made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But the Astros came in on that last day and stole the division away from the Rangers when they had it for theirs to win. They could have very well been the Rangers playing the Twins and the Orioles playing the Astros right now. So it just worked out that way, and that could be a good series if it comes around. So it looks like the Rangers are on their way to moving on to the ALCS. So
yeah, what's kind of interesting to me too is that you've got a lot of Southern teams, geographically speaking, that between Arizona, Los Angeles, both of the Texas teams, Atlanta, and with Philly and Minnesota, kind of the outliers. That's one of those that you kind of scratch your head and say, "Wow, this could actually be not only a interesting series, but it's going to be one of those series." Say for instance with the World Series, where you're not going to have a lot of weather affecting the play, which I feel like it may help teams that need the warm weather, that like the ball that jumps off the bat a little bit easier, versus if you have to go up to a New York, a Philadelphia, a Boston, where the ball is a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker air to travel through. And I think that it's going to be a lot of fun for fans and really kind of capture the moment for them, because quite honestly, everybody's in football gear right now.
Well, they are, and you got the Rangers. They're a dome team. Astros are a dome team. Atlanta is not. Dodgers are not. Of course, you want to see some, the breath coming off some of these players in autumn in the World Series that makes it feel like playoff baseball. But you got a lot of these teams that are playing in domes. You certainly don't want to see games snowed out or rained out. Which you could have some of that. Yeah. With a couple of these teams as we move in, Philadelphia being one. They don't play in a dome, neither do the Atlanta Braves, and so it's more from the National League side, I think. Twins actually has some good weather today. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, the World Series between the Phillies and the Rays, they ended up having a game that got rained out, and either was called or they had to move it to the next day because I think there was like a tropical storm or something. There was a torrential downpour that just was not letting up, and they ended up having to move the game to the next day. If I'm not mistaken,
it wasn't the Phillies and the Rays. It was was it Houston again? I think it may have been Houston again that played Tampa Bay, and but yeah, they had battled some weather with some of that. Hey, they have in St. Louis, when St. Louis was in the play, they've run into some games like that. You don't want to see that, games get delayed, and that could happen, just at this time of the year.
Yep, definitely is. Well, Hart, I'm going to tell you what, man, I've had it. We buzzed through 35 minutes already. It just flies.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get you out of here and have a good evening. I know that you just got home and stuff, and we'll do this again on Tuesday, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody, for Marty Houston, myself, Jason Pattyson, thank you all for jumping on the Huddle with Marty Houston, and take care.